Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Endzone 2. We are in Zone 3 today and we are starting off with some major exploration. So we're going to start by having a look at this tank here. It needs the blowtorch, which we do have with us, and that gives us a new gun. And then we've got some other stuff dotted around that we can bring in. Now my plan is, after our redevelopment of all of our settlements, we've ended up with a little bit of an issue in our kind of main new settlement in the middle of Zone 2. That issue is we currently have a dead settlement where everybody has unfortunately perished in the wasteland. And that's because I didn't put enough effort into keeping it running while I was doing all of the redevelopment, and we've ended up with nothing in our central here of cinders, which is going to be renamed. The plan is to demolish and rebuild all of this anyway, so I'm not too fussed about it, but we are going to use it as a major storage hub for a lot of items that we're going to pick up on these expeditions. So here we need a blowtorch, we need an axe, we also need some iron and rubber and an iron tool, which tells me that there is probably a vehicle in here that we can get. So we do need the axe, so we'll go here and we will send one vehicle, this one, back down to Newtown. They're going to do a little bit of mixing up of things so that we can get ready for the next part of the expedition in here. We are then going to start our expedition and get underway with things. So out here we've got the shovel, yes, so there is definitely a vehicle in here. And we know that we can attach that shovel to this vehicle, so I assume this is probably going to be the the bigger truck. We've got rims here that we need rubber to repair. We need 30 units of rubber. We've got the truck itself, which we need a blowtorch and 15 units of iron. So we need 15 iron and 30 rubber. There's a delivery truck around the back here that we can use the axe to get access to. There's also a few containers just dotted around. So we'll get into that delivery truck. That gives us some iron, which is good. We still need some, though. We've got another axe there. We can get into this container. We can dismantle the container doors, right? So then we've got a truck here with stuff that we can potentially take off, an old engine. We've got a safe there, which we'll come back to in a moment. The printer doesn't really have anything for us. What about then? Let's have a look, see if we can see code for a safe. It doesn't look like it. What about back inside the actual main building? There might be a code on one of the walls here. There it is, 6921. So we can come back into this ruined building and access the safe. 6921. 692 and 1. And we are in. What does that give us? It gives us the steelworks, which is very good. Nice bit of research there. That saves us a job. Not that it matters. We do have pretty much everything we need to complete all of the research, but I am a sucker for doing things for free. So we're going to continue trying to get all of these bits in. So we've gathered up everything here, and then we just need to attach them to the truck. So to do that, we're going to need iron. We need... we've got 7, so we need 8 units of iron and 28 units of rubber. So for now, I think we can only end the expedition, but we're going to dump everything we've got into it. We have plenty of iron tools, so I think we're okay for that. Where's our vehicle at the moment? It's barely moved. So while that is happening, we're going to move on, and we're going to just grab some loot from various other locations, so we can loot this one here. That gives us some more iron, which could be useful. And then there's another workshop here, which needs a generator. I have a generator in one of my vehicles. I just can't remember which one. This is one of the issues with not having the Pathfinder anymore. Normally, I would put the bulk of my stuff in the Pathfinder. There's a generator in this one. Good. So actually, I can mark it knowing that we've got one with a heavy cannon on here that has a generator in. Okay, so we've got a pallet here, and there's another car over there. And again, it's just going to be a case of running around and looting stuff today. We've got a lot to prepare for. And the plan is to get a few new settlements up and running. One of the main things, though, is with a bug in the game, I lost my second iron mine. It can no longer be put back in place because after I deleted it, it seemed to delete the node as well, which is really frustrating. So iron is something that we're going to have to really manage well. Obviously, we are quite lucky in that I think Rusty Rolf has iron for us, so we can put that to good use. We can use the control panel here to get the buggy Then we can take our generator back. Let's have a look at the vehicle. That's done. We get a new vehicle, end our expedition. We're going to load all of the loot in, and then we'll have this buggy just pick up the blowtorch. And I'm actually going to send that buggy all the way back. We don't need it while we're out here, so we'll send it back to Newtown. Then if we have a look, I think, yes, that Nomad is well on its way. But we can have a look at what else we can pick up. So we know we need to come back to that workshop to finish off that expedition. There's nothing else here. That is lead. We've got an abandoned medical center here, which we'll go to next. First things first, we'll load up this stuff. And there's some scrap tools there that we can load up as well. And what do we need in here? An axe and the lockpick. So, having a quick look here, we've got a lockpick there. So we'll bring this one forward, and then we know the axe is in one of these. I think I've dumped all of the stuff into it, haven't I? No, I haven't. I've got it here. Good. So we'll move this one up. We'll use the axe first, obviously, because normally the stuff that requires the axe comes first. So, pallet. Good. Little bits of stuff that we can use here. We've got a car, which gives us some scrap. There's another ladder, which is useful. We'll go and grab that. And then getting into this crate is probably what we need the lockpick for. Ah, okay. Right. So crate there. And I guess we use the axe to break in this door. And that gives us access to the main lobby area. Yes, it does. Right. Okay, good. In here, we've got a checkout, which will just be some lore. Then a shelf. And a final shelf. Okay, good. Right. Ending our expedition again. We will load everything up into the vehicles. Then we'll switch to this one. And we'll use our lockpick to get into the big crate around the back of the building. And that completes another expedition. So we are flying through at this moment in time. There will be some more in-depth ones later on. We've got more iron there, which is really useful. We'll load all of that up into the car, and we'll take the ladder as well. And then we can move our entire convoy onto the next location. And there is a gas station here, so we'll move on again. And what do we need for this? It's looking like axe, ladder, and a plant encyclopedia. And I have axe and a ladder here. But I also have... We'll use the axe and the plant encyclopedia with this group. Now there's a car there. The delivery truck, which is usually what we require an axe or lockpicks for. Nice. That give us some lead and a lockpick as well. So we're going pretty well so far. We've actually unlocked the iodine mine there, which is really useful. I think most of our research should be on the way to being complete now. And the plant encyclopedia, that gives us watermelon. Great. We can attach the ladder to the bottom support there and gain access to the upper level. So we'll do that. That goes in. Up we go. We'll grab the crate. That takes us to 100%. That had some iron tools in, which is really useful. Grab the ladder and end another expedition. We can load up the loot, end the expedition altogether, and then we've got some loot that we can grab here as well. Taking everything in and moving on again. Very expedition heavy today, like I said. We've got some more loot here that we can grab. There's also a wind turbine that we can climb up and explore, so we'll do that. We're just slowly eating away at all of the stuff that we need to get in this location. And while I'm doing it, because I've got a large convoy, I will come and take anything from these like residual little areas that we can grab. So we'll just pull this one up. I've got a nuclear power plant there, so that is probably going to be a difficult explore, but it's all going to be useful. We're done there. Good. And we have also, the lighthouse. This is an achievement-based thing, so we can put that in. We'll probably put that in our new zone. There are a couple of achievements that I've yet to get. Like one of them's completing the tutorial, so maybe I should go back and do that. Like the kind of end of this whole thing will be once we've completed all of the achievements, basically. So this one needs an axe. We've got an axe in one of our vehicles. I think probably one I've just had selected. But because they're dancing around like madmen, not able to park. I mean, luckily there's no other vehicles on the road. Right, we are in. We've got cable drums. Copper cabling is always useful. Rubber, great. And a car there. And then we can break into the door and start climbing up the wind turbine. Going up and going up again because there's nothing here. We need iron tools or scrap tools. So we'll end the expedition. We'll take everything out of here. Then we'll switch to something that has the tools in that I need. There, we've got scrap tools here, so we can load them into, or we can just start the expedition again. Knowing that we've got these scrap tools, we can then head up the ladder and head up the next ladder using 10 of the tools. Done. And up we go. We've got a generator. We've got a barrel here. And then a final door just there, which lets us gain access to the top. And that obviously will help us discover a few places, but we don't need it. So we can load all of this in. And then I think it's probably a good time now to just dump all of our loot back into this location. And then we can start doing a little bit of a sort as we're in like a decent location right now. We can organize our inventory somewhat and be ready to carry on. So we'll, again, dumping everything into this expedition location, and then we'll start pulling everything back out again. And it just helps sort everything out and rearrange your convoy a little bit so that we are best equipped to move on with plenty of space in our inventory. Right, we do have another warehouse up here, and then there's more stuff here. We're going to skirt around the nuclear power plant. We'll come back to that at a later date. Now, this ruin needs a generator and a plant encyclopedia. So, just having a look, because we do have, there we go, generator and a plant encyclopedia in there. So we will come over, and again, we can start grabbing stuff from here. Now, some of these areas do have the additional items and stuff. I have got space in the convoy to be able to load those up. I did sell a lot of stuff to Ole Sorensen before we started this expedition run, and I did all of that in exchange for decontamination kits, which I've put in my abandoned settlement, which is, like I said at the start of this episode, acting as a storage location. So it is kind of being able to hold a lot of resources, because my plan is to make that my central location and have lots of stuff running through here. We've got zucchini there, so that's another seed unlocked. And I think if we have a quick look, or we will at the end, at all of the stuff that we've got, I'm just going to systematically go through and load up everything I can. I think this one has the ability to take in the copper cables, so we'll grab them. I did have another one that was storing things like food. There we go. They are full up of cloth as well, though, so we're going to have to... Let's just bring this mule over and take the remaining stuff. There we go. Nice. And then, again, we'll move on. We've got... I think this is a house. Yep, ruined house. Needs an axe and a plant encyclopedia again. So we're coming along here. I think this is where the last of the seeds are going to be found, because the last few expeditions we've done have contained seeds that we have not yet accessed. So that is good. We'll just skirt around the edges of this building again, grab up everything we possibly can, and there's a plant here. Hopefully it is another one that we don't know. No, we already knew that seed, but it does give us a knowledge point, which we're not going to make use of, because I think we should... I'm going to have a look at the sciencey stuff as soon as we finish this explore, and we'll do a little bit of an update on what that might be. We can move that shelf out of the way to gain access to a cabinet. There's then a door here, which I think is upstairs. So we go through, then... we need to move the shelves back to gain access to the ramp, the stairs that take us up to the next level. Then through the door with the axe, and again, cabinets, shelves, more cabinets, and some books. That gives us the plant encyclopedia. We've still got a little bit left here, so what's going on? This shelf just... there's another room here. Excellent. No, that's the same room. Is it this space here? There was a cabinet upstairs. I missed that. Right, we'll put that back then, and then we'll go back upstairs and grab this cabinet in the corner of the room to complete the expedition. Ooh, glass. Okay, good. Load in, end... And again, the same sort of stuff going on every time. We just make sure that we rearrange everything as much as possible, grab all of our loot, and then we can move on. There we go. Right, another one finished. And again, we can move on. I think our nomad has returned now, but we may actually have... What we'll do is we'll explore this little area. So again, here we need iron tools and a generator. We have a generator there, but we don't have iron tools. So we will trade here. We'll start the expedition. We'll grab one item. We'll just loot this crate. done, then we'll end the expedition and we'll dump everything into it. Like that. Then, again, we'll come over here. We don't need that vehicle. We don't need that one. We don't need that one. And we'll trade all of that into the warehouse. We'll trade all of that into the warehouse. Same again here. Just dump everything into it, because we can obviously use the materials within the expedition. And then we need the generator and the iron tools, which we do have access to. So the generator's there. You'll have to accept my humblest of apologies for all of the moving around of things. I understand the sound of the vehicles is probably a bit frustrating at times, as I select through them very quickly and you hear them revving up, but hopefully it's not too much of a pain. That container needs iron tools to break into, so we'll use that, and that gives us iron and scrap. Then we'll go into the warehouse itself using the control panel. And that gives us a knowledge point, but again, it's not a knowledge point that we, it doesn't lead to us accessing some sort of new scientific discovery because we already have it, whatever it might be. But 2 knowledge points is pretty good. There's also a safe in here, so we need to be looking around. There it is. 9845 is the safe code. And up we go. 984 and 5. Perfect. That gives us the lead mine. Oh, perfect. Oh, I'll just grab the generator and we will end the expedition, loading everything we possibly can in. And we'll come over to here, do the same. Here, again, just loading everything we possibly can into these vehicles, including the last bits. I think we're starting to fill up now. Our vehicles can't really handle any more. Right, good. Then we'll move on. We'll go here because there's one more building there that I want to grab. And I think if we have a look at our expeditions, then you can see we've done 8 of 30 already in this location. So we're really ticking them off. If we have a look at our research as well, you'll see we only have 2 more research items to do. And I think one of them, the Titan, is the vehicle that we are about to unlock in that abandoned facility. And then it's the town road. That's all we need. If we have a look at our, where is it? Where can I find seeds again? I thought that was in research, but it doesn't seem to be. Or is it, if I look at farms? No, it's not. That's not it. Statistics? Nope, nothing there. Right, okay, that's fine. We've got a couple of things we can loot here, so I'm just going to take whatever I can into the vehicles as they drive past. That one's done. I'm going to send this one down here. What do we need for here? We need a ladder and a wood plank. So I think, there we go, a ladder and a wood plank. We'll loot here. And then we'll send this vehicle over to here. And then our last one, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. That's the wrong vehicle. So we'll end that one. And then looking to this one here, ladder and a wood plank, we can finish off here. Once that vehicle gets to where it needs to be, we can then actually finish this whole thing off. There's a plank anyway, so if we were short, we do have that. There's a ladder there as well, so actually we do have everything we need in situ, which is really useful. Around the back here, there doesn't seem to be anything but 5370. There will be a safe in here. You can kind of work it out based on the layouts of the buildings. These ones, these industrial sites, they do tend to have a safe on the top level. There's a crate there, and then a shelf, and then the safe itself. I can't remember what it was, so we'll just back out a second. It's right there, 5370. 5370. 5370. Good. What does that give us? Copper and another knowledge point. Right, so we'll head down. We'll go here and we'll grab the wooden plank. And then we'll climb down the ladder and we'll take that with us as well. Ending the expedition, loading up whatever we can. And again, we just come round and load in whatever else we can fit in. And we'll go and drop all of these off in our main new settlement. Where are the rest of my vehicles? Where have you gone? We've got this one here, which we can loot there, and then we'll come back and load in whatever's left. I think that is everything. Now, I should have 5 vehicles. Sorry, 6. We load this up, and the last bit, and then, great, right, we'll bring all of them back to Cinders. We do have Nomad here. Now, this one needed rubber, so we're going to bring in some rubber, and then we've got other items that we need to bring in as well so that we can get that vehicle. So looking at this, we can bring in, I think it was rubber. Where is it? Rubber. There it is. 50 units of rubber should do us, and then we needed iron tools, but we don't have any. We also needed iron. Now, we do have some iron. We've also got some in the convoy, and I think we do have iron tools as well, so that should be okay. Then we'll actually send the convoy that's on the move now. We're going to send them to that site again. I think that's probably the best thing to do, because we can get that built, we can get that done, and then we'll head home and drop everything off. Looking again at our expeditions, we are on 9 of 30. This will be our 10th, which means at the rate that we're going, we should have this completed very soon. So, looking around, what have we got here? We needed, again, we'll load everything in. Let's just dump all of our stuff into the expedition and see what we end up with by the time we've loaded everything in. We might not actually need this drop from the convoy. We might be okay. Lots of rubber there, iron tools and iron. I think we can do this now. So, what do we got here then? Let's have a look. We've got the blowtorch there. We can start the expedition up. Looks like I'm trying to actually drive into the garage, which is quite funny. And then we have, here we go, iron tools and iron. Done. Right, now we can attach the wheel arches. Ah, right, we need the rims. They need to have the rubber put onto them, which is done. The door lamp, what does that need? Anything? No. Engine, shovel? No. Right, okay, so now we can attach wheels. Good. We can attach the bumper. Done. We can attach the lamps on the roof. Bumper. Done. And the doors. Perfect. And that does unlock the Titan, which means the only research we have left is like town roads or whatever it is. So we have unlocked another vehicle there. We can load that up. And the Titan comes with its own set of things, which is really useful. I don't know where it is. There it is. Is that it? That's the Titan. Big inventory slot, slow moving, but a very useful thing. Can it carry a lot of stuff in there? But in terms of getting across the wasteland and having a large inventory space, the Titan is the way to go. So actually, we were pulling a vehicle over here, and it's almost there, I think. There it is. We're actually going to send it back to Cinders so we can regroup for our next episode. So that was very good. We've managed to do quite a lot there. We have now completed Endzone 3. 10 of 30 expeditions. We are going to target the right-hand side of the map next episode, and hopefully that'll be all of the expeditions done across all 3 sectors. You can see here we already have food being produced at the end zone. We've got the clay pit, which has given us 50 units of clay per day. We've got our sewage treatment plant in Zone 1, the scrapyard in Zone 1, and then I think there's more stuff to be had here. But I can't really see anything. There is a biogas plant there, but there doesn't seem to be anything else. There's an industrial site and some warehouses. There is another end zone that might have some sort of production in there. There is a sand mine, but these aren't great. An iron mine would have been perfect. But if we have a look at the new settlements over here, so this one, which doesn't actually have, not showing up anything, but it looks like there's iodine there. I can't really see any. Oh, there's a fish farm. And over here, there's another mine, but it's a copper mine. Then here we've got, obviously we've got lead ore there and nothing else. Like the old buildings, these are all just scrappable things. But there is fertile soil there and some wild animals. That's going to be a really small one. Then over here, we have another mine that is an iron mine. Right. So we've got 2 lots of swampland here, and lead and iron. So that could be very useful. That's going to need to take a lot of work to get set up though. And then over here, we've got another 2 swamp farms and 2 iodine farms, as well as the restorable ruins, one of them being the fish farm, which is actually very useful because you can get a lot of food on a very small footprint, which we need for these swamp locations. So that's something that we're going to have to look at moving forward. And hopefully that iron mine will give us enough to be able to produce the steel and stuff that we are going to need. Now, if we have a look here, we've got iron. Let's have a quick look at our build stuff and see if we can start producing steel. So we've got trades and crafts, or is it in industry? Yes. So the steelworks produces steel out of iron and coal. I don't know exactly what it needs. So yes, it is iron that it needs. And if I placed it here, it also needs electricity, which it doesn't have there, but I think it's within range. That is near iron and coal production. So we could actually place the steelworks now. And it doesn't need to produce a lot of steel, because steel is not something that you use a massive amount of. So hopefully once it's built, we'll be able to put people to work here enough so that we're at least producing like 1 or 2 units of steel per minute. Once it's built, we'll adjust accordingly to make sure that we're still producing enough iron and getting enough iron ore. Like the iron ore, we're coming up at 0.3 per minute, and the iron is 2.4 per minute. And the iron tools are 4.1 per minute. So we are producing at an even rate. Everything is increasing, which is exactly what we want. The steelworks, on the other hand, might be a totally different kettle of fish, depending on what happens. What we need to watch out for is our coal production and how that is impacted by it. Now, the nihilists are coming, and we do have vehicles ready to cope with them. So once they get past, we'll actually move this convoy from cinders down to here for now to defend that. And then just looking back over here at the steelworks, which is now, well, almost finished. We've got vehicles or buildings under attack, but I think that is the... yeah, one of them's gone already. It would have been the bunkers. Right, we are up and running here at the steelworks. There's nobody working in it just yet. If we put 1 person to work in it, now the iron is dropping. So what we need to do is we need to adjust the rate of production on our iron tools at our upgraded workshop. So we'll drop 1 person out of that, and that leaves us still at 0.6. Because that's producing scrap tools. This one producing iron tools, if we drop that down, the rate of iron production goes back up, and we are still producing enough iron tools. If we have a quick look here, and looking at our education, we do have economists in place, and that is improving the efficiency there. And it's the same here, economy and industry. So they are able to produce 2 units of steel per minute, which is exactly what I was hoping for. So that is perfect. Great. We've got this nihilist. He's going to destroy something here. We're going to have to come out and do some repairs. I will do that off cam. And we better just bring this convoy up to here, because that's starting to become an issue. You can see right there, he is taking some, he's really damaging our infrastructure, which we don't want. And now he's gone. Good. Right. So we can move the convoy back now, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, in a way. So we'll pull everything back here up to cinders. We'll do the same with this. In fact, he can go by here and he can just pick up loot from this wreck. Always useful to grab that. The thing is, I just forget it sometimes, because a lot of my towers, or my defense towers, they'll take down like odd roaming bands of enemies, and it ends up not being picked up. So we'll dump some stuff in here, ready to set off on another route, and we'll end our episode. So hopefully we'll be able to dump everything in. One thing we can't do is actually build anything new here, because everybody is dead. So when the depots are full, that's it. So it might be that we have to pull everything even further back and go all the way back to Newtown to drop any additional stuff off. Yeah, we are full here. We do manage to get all of that stuff in. So we'll just move everything that has been removed down, get them away. We'll exchange these goods. Depot is full, so they can move away. They are free of everything. They are now free of everything. Or everything they can put in anyway. That's full, so we'll move them back. That is full, so we'll move that away. And then here, that's definitely full. We're full on cloth there. I think we're full on stuff here as well. Yeah, so we'll get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And the last one has nothing in it. Perfect. Right, so we're going to move everything back to Newtown. We're going to drop off the last of the stuff there. And yes, Cinders is going to be set for demolition very soon. We'll come back and we'll do that. But first, what I want to do is get these new settlements up and running. So 3 new settlements coming soon. But I want to do all of the exploration stuff first. Great, so everybody's back here. We can drop off whatever we can there. Again, I don't think we're going to be able to put much in here. Simply because Newtown is working pretty solidly. But we will end it there. So thank you all for watching another episode of Endzone 2. It has been a big one. We've done quite a lot, including, you know, some major exploration and some inventory sorting and stuff. And my main aim is, once we get Cinders renamed and up and running again, we're going to put a load of storage stuff in there. So loads of warehouses, just big warehouse complexes with so much stuff in. And we're going to try and pool as many of the vital resources into that one location and then use that as a settlement, like a distribution area. So that will take in stuff from every settlement, and using a mix of buggies and stuff, we'll redistribute that to every other settlement. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a longer one than usual. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.